Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Worthy Podcast. This is Annie Gardner, where we're going to talk about boldness meets purpose. Join us as we explore powerful stories of faith, resilience, and courage, embracing the challenges that shape us and stepping confidently into the calling God has placed on our lives. Let's have the conversations that truly matter. Hi, I'm excited today to have Dr. Lisa Gardner on the Worthy Podcast. You know, this podcast is about having hard conversations and then walking in the calling that God placed on your life with authority. I'm excited to have those hard conversations with her today. We talk about women's health, men's health. We talk about hormones. We talk about GLP-1s, and we talk about her skin and beauty regimen. Coming from a doctor, she was an OB over 20 years. She's a functional medicine doctor. She's actually a doctor that I see, and I'm excited to share all the wisdom and just get raw with the woman that has so much knowledge to share. So I'm excited to have Dr. Lisa Gardner today. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Worthy Podcast, where we talk about being bold, doing hard things, and walking in the calling that God placed in your life with authority. I'm so excited to have my doctor actually on here, Dr. Gardner, Dr. Lisa Gardner, no relation. We just have the best last name, together. And I actually met you because my husband is also a patient of yours.
Yes.
And when I was processing with John and I was praying into it, you had been highlighted a while ago. And I thought, oh, she's too busy. Like, I have a small podcast. Like, it doesn't matter. But it kept coming up. And John's like, oh, it would be so amazing. You can talk about me. You have my permission.
I love
and
it.
so when I did first meet you, and I love this about you, is I went to you for Botox. I was like, I'm about to get married. John and I were not married yet. And I want you to freeze my face. And you said, nope, I'm not going to do it. And I was like, what? And then I was like, I want to be frozen. You're like, no, you're about to get married. You said, you want to see your expression on your face. And I'm like, do I? And I was like, okay. And you were like, no, you want to look like yourself. And you were like, I'm not doing your Botox. And I was like, okay. And you did put me on a skin regimen.
I remember
which
that.
I love because I had really dark like melasma, and it cleared up my face was like glowing on my wedding day. But I just loved like where you stood on things. And so
I'm
so
grateful for that. I totally forgot about that. And I remember like it was yesterday.
Because I knew that if I like came to you, you were truthful, right? You would speak truth. And I knew that John was going, John and my sister-in-law were going to you for hormones and all of that. And so when I went to you last year for what I thought were like hormones, you're like, no, actually, let's do that. And I felt seen. You make people feel seen. And I love that. But I want people to know how your career started. Like, you have over 20 years of experience being a doctor, which I love. I'm like, yes, let's have her on. I know we have wisdom on the show. Yes.
Wisdom.
So tell me, how did like you get started?
Yeah, that it's really actually a not funny story, but it's kind of like serendipity where it sort of just not just happened, but sort of.
Okay.
So I wasn't raised in a very academic environment. I wasn't raised to like, oh, she's going to go to college, kind of like I did with my daughter. Like, there was no question, you're going to college. Like, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Which isn't always the right thing to do either. Like, push, but I wasn't pushed at all. And so I was actually taking some classes, and I was like, I'm going to do radio, TV, film. I wanted to be a DJ.
Like a radio DJ? How funny.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm going to do that. So I would get up early in the morning when I was going to community college, because that's how my career started, because I couldn't afford to go to school.
Yeah.
My parents actually didn't even live in the country. My dad got reassigned. He was in the Air Force.
Okay.
Got reassigned to the United Kingdom, and that's where I was born. And I came here, and I chose when they left to stay.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I'm just gonna stay here. I don't want to go back to the UK. I don't want to be in the Air Force because my
Yeah.
dad was like, just be in the Air Force. I was like, yeah, I don't think so. Like,
Yeah.
because I was really kind of digging the scene of like the music. It was I like the DJ stuff. It was like news. So I did like college news. Oh, sorry. I
Yeah.
did like college news and I just started doing all that and I really, really enjoyed it. And then I was like, I wonder what else I can do. And somebody said something to me. It was a guy. And he said, your voice is too high and you won't be successful.
Hmm.
And all it took was that one person.
Wow.
And that was that. I just stopped. I was like, I have to find something else to do. I'm not going to be able to succeed in this. And that was like, I think about that now and I'm like,
Wow.
me now, I would be like, you watch me, but
Right.
like back then I was so crushed. It was soul
Wow.
crushing. So it's just so funny because it's like this to this. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, let's try biology.
Oh my
And then I
gosh.
ended up being really good at it because
Yeah.
I'd never really experienced it before. Because again, I wasn't really encouraged as a student. I was just kind of winging it like on my own and
Yeah.
like let's take this class. And back in the 80s, Gen Xers, our parents weren't really involved in
Yeah.
our school.
Yeah.
Like they weren't helicopter parents or
Right.
so I got into community college and I started taking some classes and I was like, And then I got myself into University of Texas, San Antonio, which back then was a really, really small school. And I'm grateful for that. I didn't get lost in like this
Yeah.
giant system. So I was finally able to afford to go to university and I started taking biology classes.
Wow.
And then came the upper level classes and I started to excel
Wow.
like biochemistry, cell
Yeah.
biology. And I was like, this is cool. That's why I love Andrew Huberman
That's so cool.
because he's just like, he says all the things. I just love listening to him and like, Gary Brecka and these,
Mm-hmm.
even on Joe Rogan, he has some really,
Yes.
really good scientists on there and everything else.
Yes.
So I was like, no way. I can do this. I didn't know. And so
Yeah.
I felt it was very empowering because of what I was told when I was younger and that path that I really wanted to follow,
Yeah.
with the music and everything else. But I ended up here. But I still think, the timing of it was probably appropriate. Like
Yeah.
that's probably where I really should have been because I have touched and met so many people I wouldn't have met probably if
Yeah.
I was doing that other job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Because
yeah,
you're so good at what you do.
I loved OB. When I did obstetrics, I probably should have been a doula because I was so
Um,
involved. I loved
I
it.
wish you could have been mine.
Mhm. I loved
Yeah.
it. I'd have lavender and I'd get in there with the doulas and
Mm.
get the patient on all fours and get the squat bar and I'm on the bottom and my knees are like crunching, but I'm like, I'm going to be down here. And so it was just really, it was such a beautiful experience to me that I got, and I saw it every time I was in there with two people and
Mhm.
sometimes family, but I thought to myself, I am so lucky to be here. They
Yeah.
chose me. I'm
Yeah.
at the birthday,
That's so
truly
beautiful.
the
Yeah.
birthday that they were here, and I would see the dad start crying and I'm like, trying to do my thing and I'm like crying and the nurses are like trying to wipe, with a 4x4 gauze, like dragging it across my face. It was just very overwhelming for me. And that never stopped. I
Yeah.
always felt very connected, especially when it was like the beginning of life. That
Yeah.
was just such a beautiful, and even C-sections, I felt the same way. I was
Yeah.
so grateful. I felt I have the opportunity to touch somebody inside their body. This is anatomy. This is how lucky am I?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the hospital is a very toxic
Yeah.
place to work. It was just very unhappy people. I personally couldn't be the person I wanted to be
Mhm.
because the hospital rules or the hospital says or You know what I mean? So I
Yes.
just kind of felt like I was very stifled in really wanting, because I just would stay there all day. And then I've got a clinic full of 40 people. So you can't
You can't
really
do,
do
yeah,
both,
yes,
right? And
no.
so, but then, just everything that was happening at the hospital during that time, that was when the electronic health records started happening. And it was none of us liked it.
Yeah.
And we were all very just like irritated by the whole thing because we couldn't work. It's like, let doctors do what they do. Stop getting us in front of these computers.
Right.
And it takes away from the patient experience. And
Right.
so, and then I was with a corporation for a while and we just did not see eye to eye. I'm not a corporate girl. I believe in community. I want connection, and corporations don't allow for
Yeah.
that. And so we just went round and round, and it just was not worth it to both of us anymore to remain in that situation. So that's when I went out on my own.
Yeah. When did you open your practice?
Oh man, 14 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it.
So 14 years, because we split and I had to find a place. It was the best thing that happened. So I was able to then go where I'm going now, which is exploring not just women's health, but now what I was telling you about, it's more of the mental health that I'm
Yeah.
bringing into the practice as well. I just feel really fortunate that I'm not part of that organization anymore because
Right.
it's no way to live your life
Yeah.
as a physician. So
I love what you said. I saw something that you posted recently that was talking about like people can come to you for hormones, but if they're not addressing the trauma in their life, or or if they're like unhappy and they think that this is going to make them happy, that it's not. It's not going to make them happy. That and I heard something similar, probably not very similar, but it was at church. It's like you hold your thoughts captive. And so even recently, I was telling John, "Oh, I feel lonely. Like, why do I feel lonely?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to get my period. Oh, my hormones are a little off right
100%.
now. Oh, I'm not very lonely." Or, the enemy is attacking my thoughts, but I can go to a doctor. And I know if I go to a doctor and I say, these are the symptoms that I am displaying, they're like, oh, let me give you an antidepressant, or you're
100%.
depressed. And because I've been on it, I know that I'll say certain words and they'll give it to me. They won't get to know me. They're just like, oh, here you go. And then they make you feel numb. I remember when I was on it, I think it was probably 10 years ago, and I was on it for a season of 8 months. And I was so numb.
Indifferent.
Yes, so
And
indifferent.
being indifferent is really the worst place to be, in my opinion. I think you're either raging, and that's okay. I think it's okay because that's repressed emotions and suppressed emotions. So you're either that, but that's emotion. It's still emotion.
Mm,
Or you're the other way
yeah.
where you're just like, okay, yeah, everything's great.
Yeah.
But indifference right here,
Yes. Indifference.
that's when the care is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you stop doing things, the motivation is gone. And that's what those pills will do to a lot of people. Now, granted, and I have to do the disclaimer, I'm not your doctor,
Right.
There is a place for some of those things in
Yes.
some of the lives of people. But a lot of people, there's a lot of studies being done now that are saying half of the population who are on things like SSRIs, the Prozacs, the Lexapros, it doesn't work. So we don't have the genes to process it.
Oh.
So there's a whole thing with that. And so that's disturbing because if you go to primary care and they just hand that out to you, and I've got a
Yeah.
whole other, irritation with that whole thing,
Yeah.
because I think it's disrespectful to women when they just hand out a Xanax or an Ambien or here's some Prozac or all three.
Mm.
And you walk out the door, you feel like there's something wrong with you that was not wrong with you. Women cycle every day. There's a good at least 4 times a month that you're all over the place. There's a drop, there's an up, there's a down. And I think that's really important for men to understand too, that that it's cyclical. We are moon driven. It is, we work with all of that. It is a thing. And it's been like that for millions of years. I mean,
Right.
it's just, men have got to like I research a lot about like how do men think and things like that. But I think men need to start doing that too, where like we comply and we sort of not comply, that's not the right word. We're more curious about why do men do the things they do, but I don't think men actually go in and say they're not. But they've got to understand that there's a reason why women are how they are throughout the month.
Yeah.
And it's for years until you're in menopause. And then that happens, and which is fine if it's controlled, but it's really nice not to have your cycle anymore. So you don't go through that. But there's another thing that women go through in menopause. It's just a drop of everything. So you don't have anything.
Yeah.
So you're not doing this anymore. You're doing nothing.
Oh, wow.
You're indifferent.
Indifferent.
So that's the women I see now is a lot of indifferent women because they've been medicated.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'd rather see you come in and raging, and I can handle that.
Versus indifference.
Yes.
Wow. How does one, okay, so I'm 41. And how does one, I think that now at my age, I have been doing the research for the last 3 years and really going in on biohacking, honestly, mostly for John. So John is 13 years older. And I'm like, oh, I've been working out. Okay, wait, I got married. I kind of gained like 20 pounds. Wild that I gained 20 pounds. And then John started not feeling good. And I'm like, hold on, you're too young. Yeah, you're older than me, but you're too young to feel like this. What do we need to learn? And so I started deep diving and eating and doing this. And then he said, hey, you have to take care of yourself just as much as you're taking care of me, because I wasn't. I was focused on him. And then I was like, okay, you're right. Because I started noticing that I was always tired. And I'm like, I'm 40, but this is not normal. And that's when I went to go see you. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about microdosing peptides.
Mm-hmm. Or the GLP-1s.
The GLP-1s. And how it just can rewire your brain and help you with so many things. And at the time, I'm like, well, wait, this can help John because it can help him with inflammation.
Yeah, well, we know. Can we talk about that?
Yes.
So he's got psoriatic arthritis, as you know.
Yes.
So I've been with him, and oh gosh, I don't even know now. I'm going to move my foot. I don't know. It's been years, probably. I would say a decade.
Yeah.
So he's had it, and it waxes and wanes. It comes and goes, but it's stress for him. And, and it was started with, as a pilot. I mean, he blows it off. Oh, it's no big deal. And I'm like, you're flying 230 people.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really good at it. Well, yeah, but like people now aren't good at it, obviously. With the things I keep sending you memes of like the things. Yeah. So no, people aren't good at being a pilot. Like they're not good at being a doctor. Like we're creating lower standards for a lot of things, including men and women. Like well, I talked to you earlier about an experience I had last eve with a woman. And it's, we're just creating people that are not qualified to do certain things. So I think who he is so particular that created a stress response, and he just laughs it off. Right. Of course he does. Oh, I'm fine. All right. You already know because he does it at the office. Yeah. So it's like that's what created it. You're not fine.
Right.
But that's what men do. They squash it. They pretend they're fine. They're not allowed to have feelings.
Right.
And that's what my husband's studying right now is men are not allowed to have feelings. We repress them. Women are part of that too. We tell them you're not allowed.
Yeah.
Don't be like that. That schools are telling them they can't be like that.
Yeah.
Sit down, little boy.
Oh, yeah. No.
They need to be outside. Their whole entire curriculum should literally be outside.
Yes.
And boys would just be so much different. You can't line them up in a classroom.
No, I was just sharing with someone that when Joey was in preschool, they were trying to tell me that he had a sensory disorder. And it was because he wouldn't sit still in a box in pre-K. And I was like, what? No, I pulled him out.
Yeah.
I'm like, you
He's
need
not
to
supposed
play
to sit in a
outside.
box.
There is no way
Yeah.
that a boy needs to sit in a box in school, let alone at 4.
Right.
No way.
So school needs to change.
Yeah.
We need to completely say, not even just like, oh, little increments. No, it goes away. Like the whole entire thing needs to start over. It's so antiquated. And so, but I still think that's why there's so many problems with divorces and how we raise children, and because it doesn't go. It's not what God designed.
Yeah.
That is not a universal God. Whatever anybody believes, it's not what was designed for us. We were supposed to be in nature, and we're so far away from it that why do you think we have so much depression? I mean, I never saw this many like cancers, depression, dementia. It's just like, how can 20 plus years as a physician, how do I not see improvements? So, I go into it starry-eyed. Oh, it's going to be, by 20 years, I'm going to see a decrease in blah, 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 blah. And there's been nothing. It's worse.
Oh, wow.
But because we're doing it all backwards, and it needs to be, it's not the 50s anymore. We've got to change. And people are upset. And I think they feel it. So what you feel that when you said I felt lonely, it was the environment. It's the thing. You're not lonely. There's something coming out of you.
Yeah.
That knows genetically, it's called epigenetics, it's not right.
Can we talk about epigenetics? What is epigenetics?
So your genes, they're turned on. Like we all have genes, right?
Yes.
We all do. They can turn on, they can turn off, but it can be stuff can be passed down to you as well. And there's even things like that I've been reading, even as an OB now, it's wild because we didn't use any of this information, that all the trauma can start in utero. So if you're pregnant and you're going through whatever it is, it transfers over. So all these epigenetics, it's all about like passing all these things down. And because there's so many things that people get that aren't gene related. People are, oh, it's genes. No, it's not. It's our environment. The environment is causing genetic change.
Can you reverse negative things that happen with epigenetics? How does one do that?
So you would have to, so again, like that video that I did, it's, okay, great. Yes, I can give you testosterone. Okay. And a lot of doctors do. Well, let's just give you more. And I just talked to a patient the other day. He lives in San Antonio, and he goes, they just want to give me more testosterone. And I'm like, no, you don't need any more. That's not what the problem is. We've got to get. I was literally talking to him as I was sitting outside with my eyes in the sun. Well, not technically, but like somewhere around there. I was sitting outside having a conversation saying, get outside. He's a truck driver. That's how you start changing things. And then you look at things and you say, my mental health isn't good. Most people's aren't. They don't admit it.
Yeah.
But they're not good. After Misty died, that was really hard for John. I'm sure it was hard for you.
Yeah.
That's like, that's a change in your genes. It's the expression of nature changed for you.
Yeah.
And we don't address it. We just pill it. So here's a pill. So that's when I decided to leave that model. And it just didn't, we always use the word, oh, I'm not aligned. But I really wasn't. It wasn't interesting to me anymore. So if I'm not going to use that word, I wasn't interested in the typical common way to treat people anymore because I saw it. But it took 20 years for me, 15, for me to say, this isn't making sense. So the evolution, the pivot, it just kept going and going, and it's still going.
Yeah.
Because there's so many more things happening now. It's the food is contaminated. Our bodies are suffering. I mean, but yes, in answer to your question, yes, we can reverse some things, but you have to work at it.
What are some things that like we could do? Like that one would start?
So like food for sure. Like that is like stop going to Taco Bell.
Preach. I still love Taco Bell, by the way, but I haven't had it.
But that is a great example, right? Like, Chick-fil-A, they're getting blasted right now.
I know.
Blasted. Dr. Mark Hyman, who has been on and on for 30 years, he must be exhausted. He looks exhausted now. He said type 3 diabetes is Alzheimer's dementia. It is.
Wow.
Food, 55 ingredients in a sandwich at Chick-fil-A. 55. And now they're not even using organic chicken.
Wow.
And there's one right behind my office, and I see they have 2 lines.
I know.
They're opening up, I think in Weatherford, 2 Chick-fil-A's across the street from each other on each side of the highway.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
It is. People think it's a healthier
yes,
option, actually.
yes.
Yeah.
Because why? It got sold as a religious thing
Mm-hmm.
because we're closed on Sunday. No, you make so much money that you can close on Sunday.
Say it. It's so,
But that's how I feel about it.
yeah.
It's like you don't close a store based on saying it's based on something that God wants you to close, and then you have 55 ingredients and
That's
so
good.
they don't go together, right?
Yeah.
So if it was really a God's, he did it, and in the however it started, it was based on that. Then you wouldn't have that. You would have tallow. You would be yes closed on Sunday, but you wouldn't have 55 ingredients non-organic chicken made at Tyson Food Plant.
Yeah. That's so true.
So they don't go together, right? So it's an oxymoron.
Yes.
So if people would just wake up and say, we are not giving you our money anymore, stop it, and then it would change. You could change places overnight. I mean, within a week, I think you could just be like, we're not going. 400 people aren't going. And they would wake up. They would go, oh, just kidding. Maybe we should do something different.
Yeah. But people keep going.
They keep going because they're addicted.
Do you think, they are so addicted? Because when I think last year decided just to stop, we don't eat out. We don't eat fast food. And there are times where I'm so hungry and I'm like, no, it's not that I have food at home because I'm trying to save money. It's because I'm stewarding my body. So I made a decision to help my husband reverse inflammation, help this. I have to partner with him, and I'm not going to be the one eating at Taco Bell and then I'm cooking him steak.
Right, I
We're
agree.
both eating steak.
I agree.
We're both eating this.
Because it hasn't affected you.
Correct.
Until it does.
Right. And so I'm going to get on board because we're going to be the best grandparents one day ever and run with our kids and our grandkids. And so we have to steward our bodies now, where I see so many older people in their 50s and 60s lose sight of their health that they can't play with their grandkids. Right. I don't want to be that person.
But what is that? So, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to get into the mental health space and get certification. One, there's only 2 somatic therapists in Fort Worth, and they're not physicians. So as far as I know, I'll be the only somatic certified person.
What does a somatic therapist mean?
Yes, thank you for asking that. So somatic therapy is where when you feel, something happens, somebody triggers you, you feel it in your chest, you're like, oh, there it is. It's like a knot. Or you feel like your guts are twisting or something happens. It's a method to help you manage it.
Okay.
So once you've had the trauma, it doesn't just go away, right? It stays, it sticks with you. So like Gabor Mate, who's an excellent resource, I highly recommend his books. It's Gabor, Mate is Mate, Canadian physician who goes around speaking about it now. And it's all about, okay, fine, you can't change your past, but you can change how you react. So if you can manage what's happening inside of you and you build resiliency to that and you find your no and you find a way to say, I have boundaries. So many of us have been people pleasers for years. And I think people think people pleasing is a good quality. Yeah. It is not. It sounds good, right? And it's actually, I think we need to change the word. People pleasing hurts you as a human. When you want to say no. And you go to the school function anyway, you join the PTA anyway, you don't want to, and you join it anyway, and it just exhausts you. And then you've joined 4 things. Now you're managing your house and then 4 things, and you can't do it. Yeah. And so somatic work is where you find a way to build resiliency, but also learn to say your no's and to learn your boundaries and to manage yourself. So when you feel those feelings come up, because they will always come up, you will be able to remain what we call regulated. So you don't get dysregulated where you throw the bottle at somebody, or there's something that happens, or you flip the table, or something happens, the rage starts happening. So you essentially repurpose that feeling that you have. You can repurpose it into a different container where, okay, this is what's happening to me. I'm going to do this instead. I'm taking a pause. That's a good one. I'm terrible at taking pauses, by the way, because I want it solved right now.
Yeah.
So when my spouse says, "Can we take a pause?" I'm really bad about it. I keep going because I want a solution right now.
Yes.
Let's end this. Whatever is happening, I need a solution, because that's women.
Yes.
Women
I
are
can relate to
solution
that.
oriented, not in an emotional way. We want to. If you walk away from me, that's a rejection.
Yes. That's accurate.
You just rejected me.
Yes.
That's bringing up my stuff.
Yes.
I'm mad now. I'm even more mad.
Yes. Yes. That is so
right?
bullseye. Yeah. It's true.
So I'm even more mad. You just walked out. I'm taking a pause, but it's the delivery of it, right? So men's delivery needs to, honey, I'm taking a pause. I will be right back.
Yes.
I'm coming back. Give me 30 minutes.
Yes.
That's different than I'm taking a pause and you walk out.
Yeah.
That's good. So that is what human beings need to become: more relational, more communicative. And what happens? The phone comes out. And now we're addicted to that.
Yeah.
And what that's telling us to do and all the things. So that's why I do my best to really try and put the phone away. I don't wake up with it. I don't go to sleep with it. I actually have a pause on it. It's a pause on my phone that I do respect. And it'll say 20 minutes is up, and it goes, so try and do that sometime.
Oh, yeah.
How fast 20 minutes
I'm going to call out John, but he does that. Like, he gives himself a really, to me, a small window, because a lot of my work is on my phone or on social. And he's like, oh, I'm out at my limit. I'm like, the first time or the second time, he was like, because he loves to read his news, but I'm like, I think you need to like change it. And he has it for social. And he's like, okay, I'm done. I close it.
Good.
Because he learned that he'll doom scroll. And I'm more strategic about when I use it. And it's a lot for learning. And then I'll like go on the podcast, or I'll go research, because you find out who people are, because I do branding through their social media. People will post what they love or what they're passionate about. But yes, a lot of people will doom scroll.
Yes.
And what you see, what you're feeding your brain is what, even the phone knows. The algorithm will start feeding you things.
I just can't believe. And do you remember the days that we were like, it's listening, isn't it? It is. The answer is yes. But like 2-3 years ago, we were wondering if it was.
And now we just know.
So the other day, my sister-in-law is actually staying with us now, and she's such a beautiful soul. My nephew is only 2.5, and he has spina bifida, so he's in a wheelchair, and she is probably the best mother I've ever seen. He can't walk, he has no lower body movement, and it's just really beautiful to watch the two of them, but it is very exhausting for her. And we even talked about that, like the whole doom scrolling, and so her algorithm is like spina bifida, and so it's already figured out what she's doing. So mine is dogs and plants. I see a lot of that, and like somatic therapy. So it's already picked up on. I'm looking at things like that, which is fine, because that's how I found courses and things. But if you hit one picture,
then you're ruined, basically.
You're ruined.
Yeah.
And
you do have to guard your heart through your eyes.
And it can be very, very hurtful to your partner as well. Because if you're scrolling through and you see, somebody that liking something, it hurts. And then that causes problems. So, but the thing is, Apple, Samsung, whatever, they know this.
Yes.
They already know this. They know how to get you.
Yes.
So once you interpret it like that, that's when I'm like, no. You are not going to get me. And that's like the enemy. You're not going to get me. I know what you're doing. You're trying to get me to look at certain things. And I'm not going to. I'm not going to like that picture, because as soon as I do, I'm going to get 400 of those in a row.
Yeah.
So it's things like that. So it's very damaging to relationships. We already knew that with Facebook, but now you got all these other things, and it creates sneaky ways for you to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be somebody prettier, always going to be somebody more fit, younger, whatever.
Yeah.
And you do have to become a lot more. It is difficult for a woman because it's like if you become more confident, it's viewed as,
Yeah.
that word,
Yeah.
and it's not. It's because you're almost like becoming more aggressive
Right.
because you're dealing with the things
Mm-hmm.
like OnlyFans,
Yeah.
or that if you're a woman of standard, I suppose, or I think that's a great word, of substance or whatever. That's really frustrating because really what you are is up against that now,
Mm.
trying to be a classy lady
Yeah.
by not showing yourself off, and you're up against what did I tell you earlier? 80 million
Mm-hmm.
was
80
was a suspected number of
of
men that are
men
on
on
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
And
Yeah.
if you take 350 million people total, or 330 that live in the United States, just say half of them are men, and that's
Yeah.
say 150 to 120 million,
Yeah.
and 80 million of those
Mm-hmm.
are looking at that,
Yeah.
and women know that.
Yeah.
What do you think we're thinking when you're
Yeah.
looking at your phone?
Yeah. What are the negative impacts that you have seen because of it?
I haven't really seen negative, not in patient care, but no, I don't. But I mean, women are doing it too. I mean,
Yeah.
I've taken women's phones before in the office and said like, "Oh, I'm going to show you this new face oil I found," and then they give me their phone very reluctantly,
Oh, funny.
and I'm like, so I just sort of like look away or whatever because I already know,
Oh.
or I go, "You type it in," because I
Oh,
can already
you see, like
see.
the
Yes,
guilt. It
I
is
see the
the
guilt.
guilt.
That
Yeah.
they don't wanna hand me the phone, because if I start typing something in, things are gonna
Mm.
start like, the words are gonna
Yes.
start popping up, like, on Google,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I go here,
Wow.
like, I can already tell, or
Yeah.
the algorithm's already set, and I can
Yeah.
see what's on their feed already, and
Yeah.
so I just
Yeah.
hand it back and say,
Mm.
"It's not plants, it's things." And so I just say, "Hey, go to Amazon," or whatever,
Mm.
and pick, but it's affecting men and women both, and it's affecting children. I
Yeah.
did a video on that recently. 1 in 5 children have mental health issues because they're left to be babysat by an iPhone.
I've never seen such a high use of kids on their phones.
Mhm.
I am always shocked because, I mean, I'm blessed that it wasn't a thing when I had my son. It was, I think the iPhone, I don't think I had an iPhone until my son was 5 or 6.
How old is he now?
He's almost 18.
Oh, wow.
He's almost 18. But, and
Mhm.
so when I go out with anyone, anywhere, there is a kid addicted to being
Mhm.
on mom's cell phone,
Mhm.
or they're on their own
Mhm.
iPad.
Mhm.
And
But
it
it's
just,
it's learned
it
behavior.
is learned behavior,
Mhm.
because when they say, oh, he wants that, he wants it because you've conditioned him to want
100%.
that. Not because the kid knows what you're in control of your children. And even now, like, our kids have phones, and I can't, I'm not going to be a helicopter mom. And I'm like, hey, you have God. You can hear from God. You can ask God, hey, is this good? Is this bad?
Yeah.
There's always
Yes.
like a cartoon, the good angel
Yes.
or the bad angel.
Yes.
And then,
That was actually Animal House. That's where that movie
that's so funny.
it was so inappropriate. But even back then in the early, like late 70s, I think is when it came out, it was like we all remember that, the angel and the devil
Yeah.
talking to the same person. Do it, don't do
Right.
it. But that's exactly what's happening.
And now people and kids are getting, they're numb to that because the world is making it normal. And
Mhm.
so what I tell the boys, because I have a son, and I'm like, hey, if a girl if she was not taught to assign heaven's value to herself, if she was not taught about being modest or being pure. Like she wasn't taught. She wasn't just conditioned to be that way. Her parents just didn't teach her that.
Yeah.
So you're responsible because you were taught to assign heaven's value to her and to let her know that she is worth more.
She's a goddess.
Yes.
She's a queen. You know, she is a portal for life.
The Lord also created her. So you need to assign heaven's value. And they're like, oh, okay. And when they need to articulate it to someone else, because my son has asked me, well, I hear from God, but how do I tell someone it doesn't align with my values? I'm like, well, what you can say is it doesn't align with your moral compass because your moral compass is based on biblical values. But if you tell someone who maybe doesn't know God that it doesn't align with your moral compass, they'll understand that.
Yes.
Because, I mean, we're in a world where we do have a moral compass, and it is based on biblical values. And even though the news and the world try to say different, there's all these genders and all these things, it comes down to mental health and what they have been taught by their parents or what has been put in front of them by their parents because their parents are too busy to care.
Because they're on their phone. That's what I witness. I'm very in tune with what I see around me. And I've been like that for a very, very long time. And there are a lot of things I don't agree with how, and there was a lot of things I did wrong with Abby. I think I was working all the time because what did I fall into? The boss babe mentality, right?
Yes.
That's a lie.
It is.
And can you have it all? And that's why I love Mel Robbins too. She's like, I think it was her that said that, or somebody said, a woman of wisdom said, you can have it all, but not all at the same time. So I wasn't present. I was there, but when I was there, I wasn't there. Like I had scrubs on with, blood spots on them. And, it was just like I slept in scrubs. I ate in scrubs. So I was present, but I do regret not being like really there. Like I may have physically been there, but I was emotionally completely wiped out.
Yeah.
So did I choose a path of beauty and being part of this incredible system? Yes. But it wasn't really conducive to being a parent. And I only was able to have one child. I tried to have more. I wasn't able to. But and that's also like another thing I deal with because I had miscarriages and I wasn't able to have more children and I stuffed that down. Oh well, I wasn't able to have any more kids and that's just how the cards were dealt and that's not true because I didn't address it.
Yeah.
And it was stress. It was very much stress related and age related, and that was very hard on me. And it's funny because as I get older, now that I'm addressing it, because I'm very aware of mental health and bringing it into the practice, I realize how much I stuffed down during this time, and I'm very transparent about that with people. That was very hurtful, and I would love to have had more kids and been surrounded by 10 grandkids. I'm not going to, my daughter right now, she's like, I have 3 dogs. That's the limit for me right now. She's going to be 28 this year. So she will probably at some point, but she's just really not that interested in it.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. I support her fully. But people that have had multiple children, they are able to grow their family because they've had more children. And that just wasn't something I was able to do. And, but being in that field, it made up for my missing that, right? Until I wasn't in the field. And then I was like, oh, I don't have a lot of kids to go home to develop and to be part of and have a big family and all those things that I really desired. So
I can definitely attest to that because I think sometimes what people see is that I have all this time and look, you get to travel and I'm blessed to have my life. Like I'm so blessed. And I met my husband later in life. We both were. And so when we met,
because I think John's my age, isn't he? 55.
he just turned 54. So yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys,
yeah, yeah.
So we're 13 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
And my desire was to always have more kids. But because I had John, I was a single mom. My desire was to be married. And so my husband would want kids with me because I had Joey and became a single mom when I got pregnant, basically. And so
that's not good.
I didn't know what it was like. And so I thought, oh, I would have all these babies. And then I'm 41 and we're like, oh, yeah, we're not going to. And that's okay. That's okay. But it's still like.
It stings.
Yes.
Because it is a natural thing, period. I don't care if you're 80 years old, to want to have babies.
Yeah.
Our body is designed for that. We're beautiful. It's a portal. It's a portal. We give life.
Yeah.
So people that are angry with women or whatever, you came from a woman.
Yeah.
And we are very, very powerful to be able to, in the best way, to be able to create a human being inside of us.
Yes.
And then nurture that. And it stays with us, not like the animal kingdom where it's like, okay, bye, you're a giraffe. See you later. You know, like you may stay in the pod or whatever, but you're not, I don't know what they're called, but you're not able to, it's like, yes, it's your offspring, but you're just part of the tribe now.
Yeah.
So, but it's very different for humans. And, but it stings. If, like, when you got married, like, that was probably one of the first things you thought of.
Mm-hmm.
You're not thinking, oh, he's going to be 80 years old when my kid is whatever, you know. So you
I
just
don't care how old you are.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like that. But it is, and you know, it's, I married a man with 3 children, and it was hard because I was going to be child free.
Yeah.
Because I'm 8 years older. And I didn't realize it until I married him that I thought I was going to be okay with it. I'm like, I didn't have kids with him because you desire that with your mate. You, no matter what, like you said, like no matter what age.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I'm with somebody that I'm not able to have children with.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a thing but we don't talk about it.
Right. I think that a lot of hard things women don't talk about. And I'm like, why don't we talk about it? Yeah.
So yes, it hurts that I don't have children with my spouse.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of women get into this, they're tired raising the kids. Mm-hmm. And because I'm on the other side and they're older, I try to encourage them. I know you probably are like, oh, I'm frumpy or I haven't washed my hair. I can't go to the bathroom. I'm like, I would love to just have like little hands pulling on me because it was a short season. I only had one. And then,
I only have one as well.
Right? And
it's
then
different,
after,
isn't it?
Yes. I'm like, it's so cool. Like, I thought I was going to have 4. And I'm like, the Lord knew I am not a very patient person. And Joey was the best. He's the best child. And I don't think it was because of me. I think the Lord just knew. But all these other moms, and they struggle with these things, and then they let their health go because they don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it. And that's a whole other episode. That, you know, like the things that we have to talk about. And it's okay to feel loss. It's okay to feel grief over offspring, because really at the end of the day, that is what we're here for. You know, you ovulate your whole life. You're born with millions of eggs. And it is a natural instinct to want to reproduce with your mate.
Yeah.
And look at the animal kingdom. Go watch David Attenborough on, the planet Earth or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's all we are. And well, it's not all we are, but that's what we were designed to do. But it doesn't go away. And I think that is definitely something men need to understand is, yes, like I'm done child rearing. Like I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Like my daughter's going to be 28 this year. I'm ready for the other side of it.
Right.
It's not interesting to me. Of course now I'm not going to have a baby. I'm 55. You don't have a kid at 55, even 45. You don't have a kid. You know, you can, but for me, it was a choice not to.
Yeah.
Because of the risk involved. But, and also my age because I didn't want a 40-year-old kid
I know.
having, an
Yeah.
85-year-old mother either.
Yeah.
So you got to think about that and what
Yes.
they're dealing with. And so that
Yes.
was just a choice. But it's just an inherent thing that women have. And so when you can't have any more and you do only have one child and
Yeah.
it isn't by choice, it can be very
Mm.
hurtful. But I think that is definitely a subject that needs to come up and let women talk about it and how it
Yeah.
feels to have just one or no children.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of women out there, and I took care of them, they can't have kids.
Yeah.
So when they are out and about and they see women upset or whatever, it can be very hurtful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think so many women can't have kids? Because there's a lot. Like
Um,
infertility nowadays
mhm.
is so high.
So I'm going to say it. I think it's vaccine related. I think there is something with that that's going to come out. And I'm not. I can't prove anything,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it will come out eventually that there's something with that.
Yeah.
And I think women are very stressed. You will not ovulate when you're stressed. Well, you will, but it may not be the right time.
Yeah.
And I think women are waiting later. And I think I've got a friend right now. She was a doctor at one point, and it happens to female physicians all the time. She froze eggs
Oh.
as a just in case. Do you know how that may have felt for her? Just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case I meet somebody, just in case I want to have kids one day. That's
Yeah.
not right. That's not how it
Yeah.
should be. And so
Yeah.
that's the world that we're living in is,
Yeah.
you work, but you're supposed to have kids and you're also supposed to do this and you're also supposed to do that and you can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. I'm gonna pivot a little bit because I was looking at your skin right now and you look fabulous and you're healthy. What are some of the things that you do to
You are so
steward your health?
kind.
Because you're a doctor. You are, I don't like to say busy, but your plate is full. You're even getting another certification right now. So, how do you steward your health? Because one of the reasons I love talking to you and I trust you with my health is because, like, we align. Like, I probably know some of the things, but like, I'll research and I'll see women and I'm like, they look fabulous. Natural, they're healthy, they're thriving. I want to know what they're eating. I want to know
I
what they're
love
putting in their
that.
hair. I want to know because
Wow.
I want to,
Mhm.
I mean, learn. And
Mhm.
so, what are some of the
Mhm.
things that you're doing?
So it's really funny you bring that up. So I learn by asking, just like you do.
Awesome.
So I've got some really beautiful patients, and all I do is, "What are you using? What are you using?" And then I go on and I tell everybody.
Yeah.
So at least 3 times a week, and it is not pretty. I hair oil.
Okay.
So I'll be 56.
Uh
And I'm getting my AARP stuff already in the mail and all the things. I just
huh.
throw them away,
But look
and I'm
how,
like, no, I'm not. I'm not doing any of that. But it's hair oiling because it's ancient, and Indian women
hmm,
have been doing it for years.
what's hair oiling?
So and I'm going to start an Amazon cart
Oh,
basically where you
yes.
can like
Do
go
that.
on
Yes,
and
yes,
do
yes,
that.
yes,
So
yes.
then there's no like, oh, that's what she uses. Okay.
Yes.
But there is, you can use rosemary hair oil. You can use Batana oil, Batna. It smells like
Okay.
coffee. It
Mm.
will grow your hair.
Oh.
So it's all about, this is all dead, right?
Yeah.
This is alive. So
Yes.
if you pay attention to your scalp, you'd be surprised how much your hair will grow. I have
Okay.
to go every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It
My hair
grows that
grows.
quick.
I have a lot of gray. And so I have to
I
do
think
that.
gray looks so pretty though. If it's a good
I'm not there
gray.
yet. I am not there yet. But so
Mhm.
is my mom. Hereditary. I mean, my dad's hair is white.
I
It's
love
white.
that.
And so, I mean, so is my husband's, right? So and I love, I'm like, but
But they
John,
get away with it.
yes,
They get away with
yes. And
it,
I'm
but
like,
we
I'm not
don't.
ready yet. Okay, so you do
Mhm. Mhm.
hair oiling
Hair oiling.
4 times a week, three
At
times a
least
week.
3 or 4, and then
Okay.
I wear, and it doesn't stay on, but one of those silk
Okay.
bonnets, and it's like
Like
$8 or
overnight?
whatever overnight, but it always ends up on the pillow. It
Okay.
doesn't stay
Stay
on
on.
because it
Okay.
just so I do that, and then, there is a brand that I use, shampoo
Okay.
and conditioner called Maria Lila. It's made in Stockholm in
Okay.
Sweden, and it's a absolutely beautiful brand. And I swear by that. I use so much stuff. It's so
I want
ridiculous.
to know all the things.
It's so ridiculous. There's a brand called Living Libations out of
Okay.
Canada.
Okay.
I wash my face with oil now.
Oh,
And then I remove everything with a hemp washcloth. So you exfoliate
okay.
at the same time. So you're oiled. So I do it morning and night. Then you get in the shower and all your makeup, everything comes off. Sunscreen comes off, but then you're wiping it with an exfoliant.
Okay.
And so I love, love, love that. And I'm trying to think what else I do. I use a lot of Living Libations, and she has so many different things. So I
Like
mix it
skin
up.
stuff?
Yeah, they're all like little elixirs and things like that. And then I use castor oil
Where?
all over the place.
Okay.
Hair, eyelashes, eyebrows, lip,
Just
everything.
castor oil.
Castor oil, but from Living Libations.
Okay.
Because they add rose to it.
Oh,
So it
okay.
smells amazing, and you've got to be really careful with castor oil because it can be made in such a way that it's really, really bad. And it's got like more industrial, and you might as well
okay.
just cook with it. It's
Oh,
just
wow.
not good for you, but Living Libations has a really good brand.
Okay.
Eyelashes are really important. Castor oil will grow your eyelashes.
Wow, I'm gonna try
And
it.
it's like $3 or whatever if you do find a good one. But with Living Libations, it's a lot more expensive. But I trust that brand.
Yeah.
And that will probably be a brand I'll carry
Okay.
in the new space that we're going to be
Awesome.
in, because I do believe in that. But I think that's been a really big game. And I don't use retinols anymore. I used to do Retin-A and retinols, and I don't do that anymore.
You
They're
don't.
very stripping, and they're very, very aggressive. And a lot of dermatologists will be like, rah, 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 to me, I'm sure, but I don't think you need that all the time. It's okay. Maybe if you do it 6 weeks out of the year just to smooth pores out or whatever. But if you get on an oil, it'll blow your mind. It will reset your skin. It's counterintuitive. You're like, ew, oil. And within, I would say 2 to 3 weeks, your skin will normalize.
Wow.
I use it everywhere.
Wow. Okay.
Skin oil. So you hair oil, you can skin oil.
Okay.
But you do have to wash it off, obviously. But like today, I washed my face, I exfoliated, and I went right back to the sink, added the same oil, a squirt of that, and patted that on.
Okay.
And then
so you don't use soap on your face. You take all of your makeup off with the oil. Okay.
With the oil. And then I discovered recently the makeup brand called Typology.
Okay. Yes.
So
I've heard of
like
them.
typo, Typo, ology. And they have it's almost like a glowy gold serum with vitamin C and aloe. And that's what you're probably seeing. It's like a gold. And it's good for every single person, but it will give you that glow, because that matte look where it's gone. That was from the 80s. We used to blot, every 1 hour, because we used to buy those little blotting papers and put them in our bag and like stick them on your face as a joke, like, look how much oil I have in Noxzema and all the things. So what we did in the 80s, girls my age, we used things like Sea Breeze, Noxzema, Bonnie Bell. Ask your mom about that. Oh, I can't believe it was just straight alcohol. And we ruined our skin, and we ruined our hair, because what did we do back then? Permed it, bleached it, and I only bleach once a year now. And all the other time I do just my roots. So I'm going more brown now than I was before.
Wow.
Because it'll break your hair off. It'll ruin your hair.
Yeah, I stopped bleaching it. Because
It's
it
no
was
point.
breaking.
I can't imagine you with
my
any
hair.
blonde. It just
No, and
doesn't
then I
make any
did that
sense.
color analysis, and they said basically no highlights, no copper, and I was like, perfect.
Yeah,
We're
you don't
just
have
going.
to. Yeah, it's beautiful.
We're just going more natural because it's just so bad. Okay, what are the things that you eat?
Oh gosh, I don't eat a lot. Believe it or not, I don't eat a lot. So the whole thing with intermittent fasting, people use that, they think, to lose weight. That's not what that's designed for. I've gotten so used to intermittent fasting. It's been going on for years. Intermittent fasting is great because while you don't eat, your cells that will clean up your body, go to work.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, and I don't use it, but that scrubbing bubbles commercial where they
Oh,
go
yeah,
and you
yeah, 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 yeah.
spray and then
Yes.
the little guys are like scrubbing your
Yeah.
shower. Our cells are designed for that. So when you don't eat, it's not for weight loss. You will subsequently get some weight loss from it.
Yeah.
Like John fasted, did a water fast, I think, years
Yes.
ago. I remember him telling me when Misty was alive, he lost all this weight because it was just water fast and for 30 days or whatever for church. So, but now you use intermittent fasting secondary for weight loss or tertiary for weight
Yeah.
loss, but you mostly do it to reduce inflammation.
Yes.
That's what it's for.
Yes.
It's to scrub the skin, or it's not the skin, the colon. So if I eat something right now and my brain is getting scrubbed, it doesn't sound right, does it? It sounds like Elon Musk, like scrubbing your brain, cleaning your brain. Let's go with that word.
Yeah.
If my brain is getting cleaned right now and I eat a donut, my scrubbing bubbles go, Lisa, now I've got to go to your gut and I have to spend 8 hours there.
Oh.
I can't clean your brain up. I can't clean the lymphatic system. I can't clean around your heart. I can't clean. This is all about cleaning.
Yeah.
That's what intermittent fasting is. So we're using it. It's a buzzword, right? So what do
Yeah.
doctors do? Use it for a buzzword.
Yeah.
They sell it as, no, you'll lose weight this way. No, you don't.
Yeah.
And people will come at me all the time. I want to lose weight. And does intermittent fasting work? No. Maybe secondary or tertiary too. But I got so used to not really eating a whole lot when
Yeah.
I do. Like yesterday, I went to Juice Junkies here in town, and I'll get something from them, like spirulina. I love tart cherry juice.
So do I.
That's good for you and John. Great for inflammation.
We drink it every night.
Every night. It's so good. And if it has any L-theanine in it, it can actually help you sleep. I do a lot of herbal teas. I love Pique Life, Pique.
Okay, yes.
You've seen that. They have beautiful teas. They have mushroom compounds. I do a lot of beef liver as well. I have a patient that actually makes me beef liver capsules. She gives me giant mason jar full of those.
I have started taking the beef organs, the female beef organs, for the last 2 months, and I think I can tell the difference.
She makes them.
That's amazing.
She will dehydrate them, add maitake and shiitake mushrooms to her mix.
I need that.
And she puts them in a capsule.
Wow.
So again, at my new practice, I think when we move, I may actually have like little jars of her stuff. Because it just makes sense. And now it is made in her kitchen, so you have to get over it's not FDA approved, and I don't want anything FDA approved anymore. But like to me, it's like like if she makes it and she puts a label on it that says, "I made this in my kitchen," it's not FDA approved. Great, that's totally fine. But I do that, and then I use ashwagandha for stress. I use a product called sea moss.
Okay,
if you're familiar with that,
I've heard of it.
Because that will have maca, which is great for just being a female. And also it's good for sex drive and things like that. But maca root, and it has ashwagandha in it. So sea moss has all the things. I use chlorophyll in my water.
Okay.
I use saw palmetto.
What is that?
Great for hair loss.
Oh.
It'll stop you losing your hair. Saw palmetto.
Is that a capsule? Okay.
It's a capsule. And great for reducing your risk of prostate
I'm
cancer.
literally all my notes.
So
and
that's
I'm
going to
take all of this.
That will be my next thing that I do. Paul is going to come with me, who shoots my videos, and we're going to go through the kitchen. And I'm going to go through all the things that I take. And I switch it because sometimes if you're taking 20 things, your body's like, I don't know what to do with this. So if you take 3 decent things and you eat well and you get some sunlight and take a walk every day. And I have an Oura ring. I use one of these. And that helps me kind of navigate like, okay, go to bed earlier than 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Or go for a walk. It's time to stretch your legs, Lisa. Stuff like that. So any of those devices.
Yes.
But the good news too, if you want to get on any of these, and this is like a shameless plug.
No, please.
But a lot of doctors are doing now. It's called full scripts.
Oh, yes.
And I can actually get you a discount for these supplements.
Awesome.
So it stops me from having to carry them.
Yeah. Actually, I think we need to do that because I I love, like, I'm in the season of health, like just optimizing and feeling good.
Mhm.
And like I won't get supplements at Costco. Like
You
when
can't.
I'm like,
They're not
they're not,
regulated.
no, I
And
won't
even
do
if they
it.
are regulated with who? Your
Hmm.
friend?
Yeah.
You got your friend to regulate it? You know what I mean? Like who
Yeah.
has the lab next door. So no, you can't buy anything like that. I love Thorn brand. I think
Yes.
that is an excellent brand. Metagenics is really good. There's only a few that I'll take, not very many.
Yeah.
But you have to be really, really careful where you get your stuff. It can't. I used to be a Central Market nut, and when you have 40 D3s,
Yeah.
I'm standing there like this.
Yeah.
And when I had my D3 checked, it was so bad. So when I started using liposomal D3 with K2, liposomal means it's in an oil.
Yes.
My D3 shot through the roof. My D3 is like 90 something last time I had it checked. But you have to do it with vitamin K2.
Yes.
Vitamin K2, people don't know really what that is. D3 alone can actually give you calcifications in blood vessels.
Oh, wow.
So we don't want that. Like you don't
No.
want calcifications in your blood vessels.
No.
K2 stops that. It pushes the calcium into your bone where you need it.
Okay.
And if you asked me if I could take any supplement, what would it be? It would be D3 K2. Immune system boosting, multiple sclerosis risk reduction, reducing Alzheimer's, reducing
Wow.
prostate cancer, breast cancer, D3.
Wow.
Now ask your mom, and she's probably not, a little bit older than me, but ask your mom what D3 used to be. Oh, it'll build my bones so I don't get osteoporosis. It does so much more than that. Wow. So if you're not taking anything,
take that.
D3 K2, but it has to be in an oil.
Okay.
Thorn brand D3 K2, I can get it to you 20% off.
Awesome.
I hate saying that.
No, but I'm ordered today.
But
I'm
you
like,
need to know. And my girls do that. You call the office and go, hey, I want XYZ.
Yeah.
And but the other thing that I love right now is NAD.
Okay. Yes. That I've been wanting to do the NAD shots or a supplement.
And we have those too.
Okay.
So you pull them up yourself and you give yourself an injection 3 times a week.
Okay.
So without NAD, your body doesn't live. You have to have NAD to live.
What are the benefits of NAD?
Metabolism and mitochondria.
Okay.
Without mitochondria, you will not live. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of your cell. Did you ever make a model in biology of the cell?
Yes.
Do you remember the one that was squiggly?
Yes.
It looked like that, and it was encased in like a cell, but it had squiggles?
Yeah.
That's mitochondria.
Okay.
Mitochondria is the power, that's the generator of trillions of cells, and without that, you're done.
Okay.
So it will boost. So as we get older, NAD, not NAD, do not call it NAD. If anybody calls it NAD, don't go to them. That means they can't pronounce nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide is what it stands for. So no, it's not NAD.
It's NAD.
It's NAD.
Yes.
And I scroll past. If anybody goes, oh, get NAD, I go, no, you don't even know how to say it.
Yeah.
So we're not going to, don't go to somebody that doesn't even know how to say it. So it's not NAD. So, and I have it in a capsule form, but I don't. I think injectable is going to be the best way to do it.
Okay.
It isn't an insulin syringe.
Yeah. Awesome.
So it's like a Botox thing. Like you don't. But I do, you asked me about my skin. I do Botox.
Yeah.
I will do that.
Yeah.
Even though it's not great.
No.
It's not natural, but I will do it because that makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah, I love it too.
And I'm not going to deny that. I had a neck lift as well. I'll be very honest about that. I had that done because I'd lost a bunch of weight and it was very stringy. And I went ahead and had that pulled back. So I'm very honest about that. I before I had my surgery, I think I told everybody.
Yeah.
Like I'm so
you
excited.
would though, yeah.
But I'm not afraid of that. I'm not going to lie and sit here and go I'm going to throw her under the bus. Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Stop it. Olive oil doesn't do that.
No, it does not.
So just say it. Like I would rather.
I'm like, you're 60 now. We can say it.
Yes, but I would rather
Yeah.
Like Ellen Pompeo is my girl crush, without a doubt. And my daughter introduced me to her. She's beautiful, and she's 55, and she's had a facelift. You can see it.
Yeah.
But she's not, it's just her presentation of herself.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, oh, I haven't done anything. That hasn't come up in the interviews I've seen of her.
Yeah.
It's very clear that she's had it done, but it's not overdone.
Yeah. It's just,
yeah, it's just right. And there's nothing wrong with getting that done. If you can get it done if that's what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But don't shame a woman for getting it.
I agree. Yes.
And yes, I've been shamed.
Yeah.
But you get Botox. I get that. You wouldn't believe. It's my house. My social media is my house. That's what I always say. And I say, if I don't like what you're saying, you're deleted and you're blocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you don't get to come on here. Will you do Botox? Yes, I do. And I don't, but I don't deny it.
Yeah.
I don't say that I don't.
Yeah.
And that's the big difference. So if you do all that stuff,
Yeah.
then use great skincare then. So I kind of counter it with like, okay, I'm doing it, but I'm going to use a skincare product that doesn't have a bunch of junk in it, which in fact is what I use twice a day, and that will stay on my face.
Right. I'm scrunchy. I love all these clean products, but I'm also going to do Botox.
Yes.
Like, I'm not putting junk in my body, so I'm okay with that.
So, okay, that's to your point.
Yeah.
If I ate Chick-fil-A every day, got Botox, used crappy products on my skin and all the things, and was 200 pounds, not to shame people.
Right.
But then maybe I could say,
yeah,
okay, I'm not doing the right thing.
Right.
But don't shame women for taking care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have to explain that to you.
Yeah.
And I'm in that era now that I'm not explaining to anybody anymore. If I want to get it done, I admit it. I say, yes, heck yeah, I get it done.
Yeah.
And I have had laser done and the thing, and but I peel.
Yeah.
I do all that stuff at home by myself.
I love it.
And so there's nothing wrong with that. But I think the era that we are in is we are shaming as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think some things need to be brought to light in a kind way.
Yes. Yeah.
Like OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it.
You just need to get rid of it. Yeah.
I don't agree with it. I don't think it's a healthy platform, and I don't think it's good for 15-year-olds.
No, absolutely.
Because they're targeting.
Yeah.
They're targeting boys.
Yeah.
And you grow up with that. What kind of husband are you going to be at 25 or 30?
Mm-hmm.
If that's all you know.
Yeah.
It's not real, and it gets sold as real, and it's not. There's even AI boyfriends now. I've been hit up with that. I'll be your boyfriend. I'm AI.
I've never heard of that. That's wild.
Go plug in AI boyfriend or girlfriend.
That's wild.
Yeah, I'll talk to you while you're sitting in your dungeon in the dark. I'll talk to you. I'll tell you everything. So a real woman is going to nag you, isn't she? AI is not. She's not going to nag you.
Wow.
So you're going to turn to that because you don't want to be accountable for the woman standing in front of you who is real saying XYZ.
Yeah.
So what sounds more appealing to you?
Yeah. That's wild. Crazy.
They have AI robots now. And I've seen disgusting comments women have put up, even men's names, saying so-and-so said this about an AI robot. Is her mouth big enough? Is her...
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's wild.
This is our future. And so that's what I worry about the most is our young people being normalized to think that is...
normal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's no communication skills whatsoever for these kids. They just don't have it.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay. If someone wants to find you, book an appointment with you, can they? Or where do they find you?
So something's changed. So thank you so much for bringing all this up because the pivot that I'm doing at work now is you will see me online. But the cool part about that is you get 30 minutes or an hour. You bring me your lab, bring me the things. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Cool. And the average doctor is spending 6 minutes with a patient. 6.
Yeah.
So Casey at work, my nurse practitioner, who is a phenom.
Yeah,
Casey,
she is.
I can't say enough about her. I would love for her to be on a podcast at some point because she's magical. And I'm so blessed to have her. So she's in the office. I'm now seeing patients online.
Okay.
So we're pivoting to more functional medicine,
Love it.
meaning everything.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the mental health. I'm going through the lab. Casey's doing the hormones at work, like the physical hormones, because they're like, we do
Yeah.
a lot of pellets. You can't do that online, obviously. So we're encompassing now everything.
Okay.
So as far as I know, we'll be the only medical practice that will be working with, and like I said to you earlier, my joy will be to work with executives, to do somatic work with groups, that you partner up with somebody. I work with 20 people at a time and we
Okay.
do the work. It
Okay.
could be tapping. There's a thing called tapping, where you get out of
Yes.
your head
Okay.
and you're into your body. And that's what I want to teach people on an executive level. And then hormones is just part of that, right?
Yeah.
Like that video I told you about. Hormones is a smidge of your foundation of let's work on this other stuff now.
Yeah.
So online, you can go to, I believe now, Paul just put it up for me today, actually, Book now, it takes you straight to the website.
On your Instagram.
Fusion Healthy Aging.
Fusion Healthy Aging.
If you go
and I'll
to
put it on the
that,
notes.
Fusion Healthy Aging, go to contact us, book now, and then you can decide. You'll call Alyssa, who's my clinical coordinator. You tell her, I want to book with Gardner or Casey.
Okay.
And then she'll put you into your time slot. And then
Okay.
I Zoom with you.
Okay.
And we go over how
All the things.
wonderful.
Awesome.
We go over all the things. Or you see in person, Casey. So we're working together now, online versus in person.
Awesome.
So you get both.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For
We could
coming
just
on
keep
here. I can talk
going.
to you for hours. We're gonna have to come back and choose a topic to talk about. But thank you so much.
You're so
for
welcome.
coming. I think you're amazing.
I think you're
I trust
amazing.
you. I love you. You're awesome.
And I'll
Thank
tell you no.
I know you will, and I love
But
it.
that's the thing. Like, you have to be honest with people.
Yeah.
And honesty and authenticity, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
It's like, this is me.
Yeah.
And the tattoo and everything. I'm
I
like,
love it.
this is me.
I love
and
And you're in Fort Worth. If anyone's wondering, you're in Fort Worth.
yeah. But I take care of all of Texas now.
I love it.
So if you're in San Antonio, which is my hometown, or you're wherever, it doesn't make any difference. I can take care of you
Awesome.
throughout the state of Texas. So
Awesome. Thank
it's all
you so
good.
much.
You're so welcome. Thank you
you.
for having me.